Uh, I don't care what people think about, but I'm doing my thing. So, like you said, how many strikes I landed on him, how many takedowns I has there. So I didn't guess out. So now they know.
Champion of the world, Hamzat Chimaev.
If you guys don't want to watch grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, don't watch UFC. Don't. You guys are complaining about something that it's a very simple problem to fix.
Alright, let's get this out of the way. Dricus Du Plessis was not robbed. The man was steamrolled. He was dismantled by Hamzat Chimaev in a way that almost felt unfair. The fight wasn't competitive. It wasn't dramatic, it was smothering. Dominance, and yet here's the twist, it wasn't exactly fun to watch. That's where my mixed feelings start, and if you're a fight fan, you probably felt the exact same way. Hamzat proved he's the best middleweight alive. No one can question that, but here's what I'm asking myself. Are we actually going to enjoy the Chimaev era? The fight, same round, rinse and repeat. Let's talk about what actually happened inside the cage. No need to sugarcoat things, every round looked exactly the same. From the opening seconds, Hamzat shot for the takedown, dragged DDP down, locked him up in crucifix positions, and kept him there like a playground bully holding his friend hostage. Out of 25 minutes, at least 5 solid minutes were spent with DDP helpless in crucifix. Now, in case you're wondering, yes, Hamzat did land some elbows here and there. Yes, he tried to score some ground and pound. But that wasn't really the story. The story is that every single person Hamzat faces knows exactly what he's about to do, and they still can't stop it. He's inevitable. He's the freaking Thanos of MMA, and unlike his past fights where his gas tank betrayed him, this time he looked fresh all the way to the end. 5 rounds of control, barely breaking a sweat, still smiling afterward like he could have gone 5 more. In terms of dominance, this is historic. Up there with Usman over Woodley, RDA over Pettis, Strickland over Adesanya. Utterly one-sided, utterly convincing. The generational dominance, but also a yawn. Now here's where I'm torn. Technically, this was one of the most dominant performances we've seen in years. But from an entertainment perspective, man, it was boring. Yeah, I said it. And before the wrestling loyalists start yelling, hear me out. I wrestled. I respect the grind. But dominance without damage, control without real urgency, it gets old. Even Hamzat haters admit, oh, more control, and then more control when your opponent's corner advice boils down to, just avoid the crucifix, you know we're in snooze territory. Like, thanks coach, what revolutionary wisdom. Here's the thing, Hamzat didn't do anything wrong. He was smart. He stuck to his game plan. You don't take risks when you're in complete control of a fight. But as a viewer, it's tough to stay hyped. You're waiting for the spark, and nothing ever comes. And don't hit me with it, then don't watch UFC if you don't like. Grappling lecture. I love grappling. I love wrestling. But even then, you can admit the truth. Last night dragged. The scary reality. Who can beat him? Alright, let's pretend for a moment that entertainment value doesn't matter. Forget the boredom. Focus on reality. Who in this division can actually beat Hamzat Chimaev? That's the scary part. I don't see anyone. Du Plessis couldn't hang. Nasruddin Imavov. Too small. To strike heavy. Kyle Borralho. Respect the guy, but stylistically he gets drowned like everyone else. The only person who even maybe could provide a puzzle is Robert Whittaker. But does anybody confidently say Rob wins that fight? I don't. Chimaev isn't just the champ, he's the kryptonite for practically every contender in the top 10. Unless somebody appears out of nowhere, a freak athlete, heavy-handed striker with a black belt guard game, Hamzat is going to rule for as long as he feels like it. Honestly, the only way I don't see him with the belt in 5 years is if he vacates and retires. The bigger concern, an inactive champion? So if nobody can beat him, what's the problem? Well, here's where things get dicey. My biggest concern isn't about skills, it's about activity. Historically, active contenders make active champions. Inactive ones, they stay inactive. And let's not pretend Hamzat has been fighting every 3 months. Far from it. Dean Thomas spelled it out perfectly. If Hamzat wins, the risk isn't immediate disaster, it's stagnation. A title reign where the belt gets defended once a year, maybe less. And let's be real, When was the last time we saw a champion suddenly crank up their schedule after winning? Exactly, basically never. I hope I'm wrong. Seriously, what if Hamzat defends the times a year? That would feel like a miracle. The fights a year is now my high expectation for him, which tells you how low the bar has sunk. And if that ends up being true, this era risks becoming frustrating not because Hamzat loses, but because he's absent. The DDP eulogy, farewell to Kauzan now. Let's pour one out for the Dricus Du Plessis era. Was it short? Yeah. Was it goofy? Absolutely. Was it wildly entertaining? Without question, DDP was a champion unlike any other. Watching him was like watching a barroom brawler stumble his way to destiny. He fought with zero elegance, admitted half the time that he didn't even know what he was doing, and still beat elite opponents. He inspired an entire generation of beer drinkers into thinking, hell, maybe I could be champ too. His style looked like it was ripped out of a 1920s dockyard fistfight, and yet, he scaled the mountain. That's magic. That's enigma. That's why even though he has no chance against Hamzat ever again, I'll miss him as champ. Because chaos is entertaining. Predictability, not so much. But don't worry, DDP still has plenty of fun scraps ahead. Match him up with Imavov, with Borralho, or the ultimate comedy matchup, DDP versus Strickland. Imagine the uncoordinated wild man swinging at air while millions of fans at home think they can do better. That's pay-per-view gold. And don't pretend it's not. Where we stand now, so here we are. Hamzat is champion. He's unbeatable. He's inevitable. He's dominant. Yet he's also boring, or at least last night was. At worst, if my expectations about activity are correct, we may only get one of these dominant but dope fights a year. Is that the future we want? Do we accept unstoppable dominance at the cost of entertainment? Because make no mistake, unless the UFC gives him a stylistic nightmare, good luck finding one. This reign could stretch on for years. Let me be clear, I'm not writing Hamzat off. He's one of the most terrifying fighters we've ever seen. His performance last night was technical brilliance, just not exciting brilliance. And maybe next time, he proves me wrong. Maybe he goes beast mode again and finishes someone in under 3 minutes. I'd love to see it, but until then, I'll keep my expectations realistic. The only thing guaranteed, the Chimaev era has begun, and it may be a long one. Whether you love him or hate him, buckle up, this ride isn't ending anytime soon. So, was last night boring? Yeah, it was, but it was also undeniably dominant. And that paradox is what makes MMA great. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more. Because if the fights don't keep you entertained, I promise I'll try to.